If you are over 40 and you are watching this video right now and you have the of feeling like you're behind in life, you're behind with your savings, you're behind with your retirement, you're behind in your career, I want you to understand and I want you to hear something today. You are not as far behind as you actually think you are. And let me tell you exactly why I say that. 1 year ago, I was 44 years old. And as I recall, I barely had any savings. Even though I had started to open up my retirement accounts, I had almost nothing saved. I barely started a brokerage account, putting in $20, $30, $40. Had no idea what I was doing. I can tell you that my YouTube channel was stagnant, and it had been stagnant for years. I can also say that I was in debt over $60,000. When I sat down and looked at peers my age, I realized that most of them had been investing for over 20 years. And that shame can sometimes paralyze you. You start to compare. You start to question, why didn't I think of this sooner? And that feeling of being behind almost kept me from doing anything at all. But then it clicked, and I realized something that's important that I want you to understand. That feeling of being behind is dangerous, but it's not the most dangerous thing. It's allowing that feeling to keep you from actually doing something about it. But here's what I learned when I actually got moving. Compound interest, even at age 45 or 40 or in your late 30s, it still works because it doesn't really care about your age. It really cares about time and consistency. And 20 years, let's be honest, is still enough time for compound interest to really do some damage, meaning in a good way, especially if you are putting in a consistent amount of money. So for instance, if I am investing $500 a month at an 8% annual return for the next 20 years, that will generate around $295,000. Now, that's just one account. Imagine if I increase that number. Like I mention all the time, having multiple income streams allows you to fill your buckets faster and wider. So if I put in $1,000 a month, $1,500, $2,000, that money then increases and compounds even faster in the next 20 years. And so that's one account. You got your Roth IRA. I have my SEP IRA. You may have your 401k. You may have an employer match, Social Security. So I want you to understand that 20 years is still enough time for you to be consistent and also create your plan and start today. Yes, would I have preferred to start 10 years ago? Of course. But I can say this, I have the mindset now to actually do the work and get to where I need to be because I'm focused. I don't think I would have been focused 10 years ago. The lesson in this though is this. You need to stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 15, because that comparison not only robs you of the joy, it robs you of the peace, of the motivation to even get started. And so when you recognize that regardless of what happened in your life, there is a reason why you're in this season. There is a teaching moment. There is a learning that you need to learn. And maybe it's because you need to help someone else go through their next chapter. Whatever it may be, it's between you and God. But the fact of the matter is this, you're here and you're here for a reason. And you need to ask yourself this question. What am I willing to sacrifice and what am I willing to do to reach my goals? Because if you are willing to do whatever it takes, then you have nothing to worry about. And it's not just about the money. So I want you to understand something that is very important. It's really about the mindset shift, because until you change the way you think, until you reframe your thoughts, you're always going to find yourself in that stuck position. I told myself for so long, I should have started sooner. How is that going to help me? How is that going to help you? Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Once I started to reframe that thought and say, you know what, I'm starting now, then everything changed. Within 5 months, I paid off all of my consumer debt, over $20,000. I took a stagnant YouTube channel And within 6 months, I got monetized. I got invited into the YouTube Partner Program. I also increased my credit score from 677 to 744, up 67 points. And I'm sure it's going to climb even further in the next month because I just paid off all of my consumer debt. In addition to that, I started to invest consistently over $500 a month into my brokerage account and my retirement accounts, my SEP IRA, as well as my Roth IRA. And I've been able to save in my high yield savings account over $10,000. All of that happened only after I reframed my thoughts. If I would have stayed in that stuck position, I should have started sooner. You know very well, you and I, that I would have never been able to achieve my goals. The same thing applies to you. What are you telling yourself? Because the thing that you tell yourself is what you are going to manifest. Our thoughts become things. What you think, you become. And so if you're telling yourself, I can't do this, then you won't do it. But if you tell yourself, I can do this, yes, I may have made a mistake to start a little bit late. However, I have the resources, I have the knowledge, the faith, the wisdom, and I have God on my side, and I'm going to make it happen. And so it's all about the mindset. And that was the thing that I recognized very early on. If I want to be successful in this next chapter in my life, I have to get back to the old Dupay. I have to get back to that positive outlook. I have to be optimistic. I have to let go of the limiting beliefs and the negative self-talk. And I really have to believe in myself because growing up, I've always believed in myself. Like I was my number one cheerleader. And somewhere along the way, when I had that one setback and, I felt like, oh, this is the first time in my life where I felt like I'm losing at something, I allowed that to overtake everything that I've accomplished in my life. And I allowed that to overtake my confidence. It took over my confidence. I allowed shame and doubt and fear to take over the confident person. And so I had to find that person again. And sometimes you are on that journey of reinventing yourself and redefining who you are as a human being and not defining yourself by what you've accomplished. I think in my past, I always defined myself by my accolades. And so when I see people being able to resonate with me on a human level and being able to say, oh, I see myself in her, I'm going through the same thing, I love that because it's coming from a place of purity, authenticity, and just realness. This is real life. One mistake doesn't define my entire life. And so I had to recognize that first within myself. That way, no matter what anybody says, it's not going to affect me because I know who I am and I know where I'm going and I know what God has called me to do. And I want the same for you. So I want you to recognize that feeling behind is not a fact. It's honestly a story that you are telling yourself. And the great thing about life is you can change your story at any time. You just have to say, you know what? Enough's enough. Sometimes you have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired before your life begins to change. The woman who started at 45 and who stays consistent over the next 20 years will always be way better off than the woman who never started at all because she told herself that she was too far behind. So I want you to work on that mindset piece if you are currently in this journey with me where you want to reinvent yourself, you want to build wealth from this stage in your life and onwards. And it all starts with up here. So if you're watching this video right now and you are currently in that place, here's what I need you to do. I need you to pick one thing and I want you to focus on one thing. So if that is opening up your brokerage account, I want you to do that today. If that is starting your high yield savings account to start your emergency fund, I need you to do that today. If that is setting up automatic contributions into your Roth IRA, or maybe you have a 401k, I need you to do that today. If that is you setting up recurring contributions with your brokerage account, do that today. Whatever it is that you need to do, maybe you start paying off your debt slowly using the snowball effect or the avalanche approach. Pick one thing and start. And then tomorrow, I want you to pick another thing and start. And then the next day, pick one thing and start. And the reason why I want you to pick a small thing every day is because momentum is how you get things moving. And you will be surprised at how fast things actually move once you start and you add to the next and the next and the next. That's exactly how I've been able to completely change my life in the past 6 months. is because I got started with the one thing. February 3rd, 2026, I started YouTube full time. I embarked on that 100-day challenge. In 175 days, I got monetized. Around that same time, I started to invest. I started to save up in my high yield savings account. I had already started my account, but I started more aggressively. I started to put money away into retirement, and I started to pay off debt. And here I am 6 months later. So it's really about you adding once you get started. Just don't start something and you stop there. Okay? Keep adding to your goals. Small steps. Okay? It doesn't have to be something big, but small steps. And you will be shocked at where your life will be in the next 6 months. I just want to close with this. I'm 45 years old, and it's taken me a long time to get to the place where I'm at now with the mindset that I didn't fail in life because I had to start over. I'm actually winning in life because I have the opportunity to start again, and I have greater wisdom and passion about where I'm going. You did not fail because you are still trying to figure it out. I think the beautiful thing about life, especially when you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, is that you are choosing this life. I think sometimes in your 20s and 30s, you're sometimes doing the things that you think maybe your parents want or your peers want or what you think you need to do. And then when you get to your 40s, you're just like, I don't care to impress anyone. I'm living for me. I'm doing me. And I feel free. You know, my word of this year is freedom. And I've definitely felt free in so many ways, not only free from consumer debt, but building a life that I know I'm going to be proud of for the next 20, 30, 40 plus years. And that is exactly the journey that I'm on. I am documenting my journey in real time for all of you to see. And it's a blessing to be in this position to do this because I know me. I'm going to look back and just thank myself for doing this. And so I want you to be inspired and say, you know what, even if it's not you documenting it, you can journal. You can leave yourself voice notes, but definitely document your journey because it's a beautiful thing when you can go back and see how far you've come. If you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Dupe Alaru, and this was your Daily Dose with Dupe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would encourage you to subscribe and come back again because I'm here every day dropping whatever I feel that is on my heart to share with you for that day. Until next time, I want to wish you all a beautiful and blessed day.